pricing, right? And having a lot of conversations, especially, we women, when we talk to our business besties, or for the guys, just talking to other entrepreneurs around pricing, we find that the topic gets very interesting. And what I've found, the more I have these conversations with people, is that entrepreneurs straight up struggle with pricing. Facts, straight up. And the thing is, I'm not exempt to this, right? If you feel like you are an expert at pricing and you've never made mistakes in this area, then you're lying to yourself, okay? So one thing is, the school system never really teaches us how to price. We go and we learn and we attain all of this knowledge, and we become experts in our niche or whatever our area of expertise is. But when we go do that course, they never teach you how to price your services, because it's designed to just turn us into employees. And you get a job, you go to university, they tell you how much this job might earn for the year, how much you can expect to earn in this field, how much you expect to earn in that field. But nobody really talks about pricing from the perspective of, hey, what if I don't want to go and work a job with this skill? What if I don't want to go and work a job with this degree? What if I don't want to go and work a job with this apprenticeship program? Nobody really teaches you how to price. And I know, especially as creatives, when we go to do that course or that associate degree or even that bachelor's degree in graphic design, marketing, whatever, nobody actually teaches you how to price for your services. This is what I've realized. And after having a conversation with a client of mine this week here, it was last week, and he is known, or should I say his family is very much known in the real estate industry. He's been in the industry due to the family business since he was a child. But here he is, we're working on his branding, we're working on his digital marketing strategy, me and my team, and we're working on the branding, we're building all that out. And we had such a successful meeting. At the end, he's ready to roll things out, and then he's asking, can I help him with his pricing? And I was absolutely blown away. And it's not shade or anything like that, but that really stood out to me and really signaled to me, it's like, okay, wait, it's not just small businesses, even people in corporate, not just solopreneurs struggle with pricing, because nobody really knows how to price, right? We're all out here guessing. We're all out here looking at what the other person is pricing to figure out, well, what's reasonable, because we think, okay, well, our audience is going to find pricing from us and then they're going to shop around. But that is when you are solely building a brand based on your pricing, and you are competing based on pricing. And you can only go so far in your business if you are competing based on pricing. So if your competitor is pricing $15 for their product, you decide to price to be competitive at 10, but guess what? There's somebody else who's going to charge 5. And then what? Somebody else is going to charge $2. Like, there is no growth there, 1. 2, we're all undercutting ourselves and messing up our industries. And 3, when we continue to price based on being competitive and undercutting the next person, we start to devalue our products. We start to devalue the customer service experience, because if you aren't pricing to be sustainable, then you are going to be running yourself into the ground, and that's going to affect your customer, and that ultimately is going to affect your brand. So the way you should look at your pricing is to figure out how much money do you need to sustain your business. How much money do you actually need to make when the month has come? You also have to know where you want to position yourself in the marketplace, right? So this is where branding comes in. Are you a premium brand? Are you a luxury brand? Are you an affordable brand? When you know the mission and the vision for your business and who you are helping and the problem that you solve, then you can price accordingly. So let's take Walmart, for example. Walmart wants to make things affordable for the for the for the masses, right? For the average person. So they're not gonna price like a JC Penney. They're not gonna price like a Target. They're pricing based on who their target market is. Pricing affordably doesn't have to water down your brand. It just has to have a nice balance between being able to service your customers, to being able to keep the lights on. Because sometimes you speak to small business owners, ask them how much money do they want to make, and then they say, I just want to make X. And it's like, if your goal is to make money that is less than what you'd make at your day job, why did you get into business? It doesn't make any sense, because chances are you cannot survive on whatever your salary was before if you are just aiming to make, if I make this much, then I'll be just thankful. No, you can't price like that. You have to price from a perspective of being able to stay in business for the long haul, because business needs cash. Business needs cash flow. It doesn't just need profit, cash flow, because if you do not have enough cash flow flowing into the business, then you cannot pay your bills if there's more money outside or you have more bills. Like, you have to have a healthy buffer of cash flow, and that does not necessarily have to mean profit, but day-to-day cash flow. And of course, profit is important. The next aspect of pricing that I want to touch on is pricing based on the value. So I know I touched on value just like a little briefly, and sometimes we tend to commoditize our services a lot, especially as creatives. People want to know your hourly rate. But if you spend 10 years in your industry, or if you spent 5 years or how many years refining your craft, you're probably able to accomplish something much faster, especially if over the years you've designed and refined your craft so much that you even have a signature framework. So if you have a signature framework, that means that signature framework was built out of your experience over the years versus somebody who just came out of college or who just came out of school. They are new, so they are going to take a lot longer to get something accomplished, or they don't have as much experience as you. So just think about, even in the workplace, when you now start a job, you start at an entry-level salary. Supervisors with more experience, or people as you go up with more experience, have higher salaries. So then why should you be penalized because you can get something done faster? So this is where we talk about value-based pricing. What is it worth to the customer for you to solve their problem? So a great example is websites, right? I'm going to use websites, I'm going to use my industry. If you start to have the conversation of how you help somebody, and you really think about, because a lot of people get into business and they don't really ask themselves, well, what problem do I solve? They just get into business just because, well, I like clothes, I'm going to sell clothes. You're going to have a much more successful business if you start a business solving a very strong pain point. And from that, you make yourself and your business a lot more valuable. And the more value you offer, the more money you can make. And the more successful your business can be, the more it can stick around and not just be something that you tried for 6 months or something that you tried for a year, and so forth and so forth. So for example, especially in marketing, if your client wants to make $10,000 and they come to you and you price them $2,000, then that's reasonable. If you charge $3,000, then that is reasonable, because they're going to make back that money from just a couple sales. Or if, let's say, for example, the average product or service that they're trying to make sales for is $5,000, then it's reasonable for you to charge them $2,500 for your services, especially if what you do is one-off, like websites, for example. They're going to make it back. It's an investment, right? You're helping them get to that end goal, which is to hit a particular revenue goal. So that's one example. So content creators is another great example. if you are going to a content creator to help you market your product, and they're ultimately helping you with sales, so then the value of the content creator is the sales that you're going to make. So you price based on that, right? Everybody's business and situation is going to be different, and this advice is specifically more for service-based businesses. For product-based businesses will be a little bit different, because you have to take into consideration how much it costs to make this, and then you add on enough to like pay yourselves, pay your employees, pay yourselves, and all those other things. So you have to consider your overhead. Service-based businesses have overheads as well, but it's a completely different matrix. But I think you guys should basically get the gist of what I'm saying. So that it takes a lot of trial and error to really figure out your pricing, but please stop pricing based on, well, I don't think people are going to pay me this, or because sometimes we price a lot based out of fear. We just don't believe someone's going to pay, like, who's going to pay me this, even though we see other people in our industries getting paid that amount of money. And I mean, this is not to say to send you on a comparison spree to help you determine your pricing, but really figure out what is your business's values as in, who do you serve? Why did you decide to get into this business? Who do you want to help? Do you want to help busy moms? Well, if they're busy, then you would price according to convenience, right? Convenience is a pretty premium thing. People are willing to pay for convenience. Actually, I remember what I wanted to say as well is, when you think about the value something is to someone, it's because you're fulfilling a human need. And there's something called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you could take a look at that to really understand where you fall on the scale of needs. Like, what are people willing to pay for to get this human need met? For example, Apple. People pay more for Apple just because, yes, it's a great product, yes, it lasts a very long time, but they also buy it because it fulfills the need, the emotional human need of belonging, right? They have built a brand culture, and that when you buy into this, you feel a part of that brand culture. So that's one example. So this is why knowing your brand values is super, super important. Knowing the problem that you solve, knowing your target market, who are you serving, who are you helping? Because it's one thing to know the problem that you solve, but who do you solve it to? Because all of that are driving factors that are going to help you determine what is your sweet spot when it comes to pricing. All right, everybody doesn't have to price the same, and that does not mean because competitor A is pricing this, you have to price that, or competitor C is pricing that, you have to price that. You have to find the right sweet spot that's great for your business sustainability, and also the value of what you bring to the table and what you're bringing to the world. So I hope that helps clarify pricing, because people love to say, charge what you're